In the rural town of Brookfield, where dusty roads stretched between modest homes and hardship, was a familiar companion, lived a young woman named Emma. At 23, she carried burdens far beyond her years. Since losing her mother 5 years earlier, her life had become a nightmare. Her father, Mr. Richard, once a respected carpenter, had transformed into a cruel, bitter man. His new wife, Mrs. Helen, treated Emma with nothing but contempt. Emma's days began before sunrise and ended long after sunset. She cooked, cleaned, worked in the family's small workshop, and often went to bed hungry. The townspeople whispered sympathetically, but no one dared intervene. Mr. Richard's temper was legendary. Then came Marcus, a young man from the near city. His clothes were worn, his boots scuffed, but his eyes held an unusual intelligence. For 4 months, he had worked in Mr. Richard's carpentry shop, sanding wood, hauling lumber, and building furniture from dawn until dusk. Despite his tireless work, Mr. Richard had yet to pay him a single dollar. Tomorrow, Mr. Richard would promise. Next week when I sell these chairs. But tomorrow never came. One sweltering afternoon, Marcus approached Mr. Richard, exhaustion evident in every line of his face. "Sir, I need my wages today. I worked 4 months without payment." Mr. Richard scratched his chin, his eyes scanning the workshop. They landed on Emma, who was sweeping sawdust from the floor, her shoulders slumped with fatigue. A cruel smile crossed his face. "You want payment?" Mr. Richard asked. "Yes, sir. I've earned it." "Take that girl instead," Mr. Richard said, gesturing toward Emma. "She's my daughter, but she's worthless here. Take her to the city. That's your payment." Emma's broom clattered to the floor. "Father, please no." "Silence," he roared. "You should be grateful anyone wants you." Mrs. Helen crossed her arms smugly. "Good riddance. One less burden." Emma fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, but her pleas fell on deaf ears. Marcus looked at her, thin, exhausted, but with a spirit that hadn't been completely broken. Something about her dignity amid such cruelty touched his heart deeply. "I'll take her," Marcus said quietly. Within an hour, Emma had packed her few belongings into a worn backpack. No one hugged her goodbye. Her young half-brother, David, watched from behind the house, tears in his eyes as he waved farewell. As they walked to the bus station, Emma whispered a desperate prayer. "Please, Lord, don't let this man be cruel like my father. I just want peace. I'm so tired." The bus journey to the city took 6 hours. Emma sat by the window, watching familiar landscapes give way to unknown territory. She had never left Brookfield before. The city, when they finally arrived, overwhelmed her. Towering buildings, flashing lights, crowds moving with purpose. She clutched her bag tightly, trying not to appear lost. Marcus led her through busy streets to a quieter neighborhood. When he stopped before a tall iron gate and knocked, Emma held her breath. The gate swung open, revealing a magnificent property. Her mouth fell open. The main house was painted cream with elegant columns, surrounded by manicured gardens and a small fountain. They passed the grand house and stopped at a smaller cottage behind it, the guest house. It had a bedroom, living area, kitchenette, and bathroom. Everything was clean and simple. "This is where I live," Marcus explained with a gentle smile. "I just started working as a night watchman for the estate. The owner, Mrs. Patterson, is very generous. She lets me stay here rent-free." Emma looked around in wonder. The cottage had proper walls, a roof that didn't leak, and a real bed with clean sheets. Compared to the corner of the workshop where she'd slept on a thin mat, this felt like a palace. "Is this really okay?" she asked softly. "Yes," Marcus nodded. "Mrs. Patterson lives in the main house with her son. As long as I keep the property secure, I can stay here." Emma smiled for the first time in months. "If this is God's plan for me, then I accept it." That night, she slept peacefully for the first time in years. If you're enjoying Emma's journey from hardship to hope, please like this video, share it with friends who love inspiring stories, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story. Drop a comment below telling us what you think will happen next. 3 days after arriving in the city, Emma woke to the smell of fresh coffee drifting from the kitchenette. She sat up, momentarily confused by the soft mattress beneath her and the quiet morning light. No shouting, no harsh commands, just peace. She found Marcus preparing breakfast, toast, eggs, and fruit arranged neatly on 2 plates. "Good morning," she said hesitantly. He turned with a warm smile. "Morning, Emma. Did you sleep well?" "Like I haven't slept in years," she admitted, and they both laughed softly. After breakfast, Marcus said, "Get dressed in something neat. I want you to meet someone important." "Who?" Emma asked nervously. "You'll see. Just trust me." She changed into a simple blue dress Marcus had bought for her and brushed her hair carefully. Her heart raced as they walked to the main house. When the door opened, an elegant woman in her 50s stood before them. She had kind eyes and a warm presence that immediately put Emma at ease. "Good morning, Mrs. Patterson," Marcus greeted respectfully. "Morning, Marcus. And who is this lovely young lady?" "This is Emma, my wife." Mrs. Patterson's face lit up. "So this is the wife you mentioned. Come in, dear. You're absolutely beautiful." Emma stepped inside cautiously. The interior was breathtaking. Polished floors, elegant furniture, artwork on the walls. Everything spoke of wealth and refinement. Mrs. Patterson took Emma's hand gently. "You're very welcome here, Emma. Marcus has told me a bit about you, and I can see you have a good heart. This is a big house, but there's always room for kindness. If you need anything at all, please let me know." "Thank you, ma'am," Emma replied, her voice barely above a whisper. They chatted for a while before returning to the cottage. That evening, as Emma tidied the small kitchen, Marcus sat repairing a broken chair leg. "Marcus," she called softly. "Yes." She sat on the edge of the bed, her hands folded in her lap. "When my father said I should go with you to the city, I felt worthless, like a piece of furniture he no longer wanted." Marcus stopped working and looked up at her. "I thought you might be worse than him," Emma continued, her voice shaking. "I thought you'd yell at me, hurt me, treat me like a servant. But you didn't." Tears welled in her eyes. "You gave me peace. You gave me respect. You even cooked for me. I want to thank you. I'm not angry anymore about what my father did. I think maybe this was meant to be." Marcus set down his tools and sat beside her, taking her hand carefully. "I would never hurt you, Emma. That's not who I want to be." He paused, then added, "Can I tell you something? I noticed you the first day I started working for your father. I wanted to ask him properly if I could court you, but I was afraid. I had nothing to offer. I thought he'd chase me away or worse." Emma looked at him with surprise. "When he offered you as payment instead of money, I was shocked," Marcus admitted. "But part of me was also grateful. It felt like a door had opened, even if it opened in a strange way." Emma looked down. "I don't love you yet, Marcus." "I know," he said quickly, "and I'm not asking you to. Love takes time." She nodded slowly. "But I like how you treat me. Like I matter. Like I'm not a burden. Like I'm valuable." He smiled. "That's because you are valuable, Emma. You're a queen who's just been living in the wrong kingdom. But you're in a better place now." Emma laughed through her tears, and for the first time, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not just hope for survival, but hope for something beautiful. Though love hadn't fully blossomed yet, respect, trust, and genuine care had taken root. And that was a beginning worth celebrating. A month passed, and Emma's life continued to improve. She helped Mrs. Patterson around the house, learning new cooking techniques and gaining confidence daily. She'd even started keeping a notebook of recipes and household tips Marcus had given her. One bright afternoon, as Emma helped carry groceries into the main house, Mrs. Patterson called her over. "Emma, sit with me for a moment." Emma wiped her hands and sat nervously. "Yes, ma'am." Mrs. Patterson smiled warmly. "Marcus told me something wonderful about you, that you're an excellent cook. I've noticed your skills myself. You're also humble and hardworking, which is rare these days." "Thank you, ma'am," Emma said, blushing. "My regular cook had to move overseas with her family," Mrs. Patterson continued. "I've been looking for someone I can trust to take her place. I believe you're the right person, Emma. Would you be interested in the position?" Emma's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Ma'am, thank you so much. Yes, I would love to. You've been so kind to me." God will bless you. Mrs. Patterson patted her hand. You deserve this opportunity, dear. Emma took a deep breath. Ma'am, may I tell you something else? Of course. I've been thinking about how to earn money, not just for clothes or things, but because I want to go back to school. I want to go to university eventually. Mrs. Patterson's face brightened. You want to pursue higher education? Yes, ma'am. I had to stop after high school because of family problems, but I love learning. Education means everything to me. Mrs. Patterson pulled her into a warm hug. Oh, my dear, I love education, and I especially admire young women who value it. That's a beautiful dream, and I'm so proud of you. Emma rushed back to the cottage, her slippers slapping against the path. Marcus! Marcus! He emerged from the bedroom, startled. What happened? Why are you shouting? You won't believe this. She was practically bouncing. Mrs. Patterson offered me the position as her cook, a real job with monthly pay, and when I told her about wanting to go to university, she was so supportive. Marcus pulled her into a tight hug. That's my wife. My amazing, ambitious wife. Emma laughed, her cheeks flushing. Marcus, stop. No, I mean it, he said, holding her hands. You've come so far. From the village to the city, from tears to triumph, from rejection to celebration. That night, Emma lay in bed feeling genuinely happy. Her dreams were becoming possible. But the next morning, everything changed. Emma was in the kitchen preparing vegetable stew when the door opened. A tall, handsome young man stood in the doorway, staring at her with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. Wow, he said slowly, you're absolutely stunning. Emma froze, clutching the knife she'd been using to chop vegetables. My mom told me about you, he continued, walking into the kitchen. She said you were smart and hardworking, but she didn't mention how gorgeous you are. I'm Nathan, by the way, Mrs. Patterson's son. Good afternoon, sir, Emma said quietly, focusing on her work. He laughed. Sir? Come on, I'm not that old. Just call me Nathan. I can't do that, sir. It wouldn't be proper. You're so polite, he said, moving closer. I like that about you. You're different from other girls. Emma didn't respond. She continued cooking, hoping he would leave. After several uncomfortable minutes, he finally did, but not before giving her one last lingering look. That evening, Emma told Marcus everything. He made me very uncomfortable, she explained. The way he looked at me, the things he said, it didn't feel right. Marcus chuckled and touched her hand. Ah, that's just Nathan. He's harmless. He jokes around with everyone like that. Marcus, I'm serious, Emma insisted. I didn't like it. I know you're worried, he said gently, but Nathan doesn't mean any harm. He's just friendly. If he ever crosses a line, though, you tell me immediately. I'll always protect you. Emma nodded, but deep inside, she couldn't shake the feeling that Nathan's attention was more than just friendliness. Something in his eyes had unsettled her, and she knew this wouldn't be the last time he'd seek her out. A few days later, Emma was alone in the kitchen again, preparing lunch. She was focused on seasoning the rice when she heard footsteps behind her. She already knew who it was before she turned around. Nathan leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, wearing an expensive designer shirt and a confident smile. Emma, he said smoothly, we need to talk. She set down the wooden spoon. Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to be direct with you because I don't believe in wasting time, Nathan said, stepping closer. I like you. A lot. You're beautiful, intelligent, and you carry yourself with dignity. I want you to be with me. Emma's heart pounded. Sir, He held up a hand. Before you say anything, let me finish. I can change your life completely. I'll send you to any university you want. Not just here, but abroad if that's what you dream of. London, New York, anywhere. I'll give you a new phone, clothes, a car, money for anything you need. You'll never struggle again. Emma stood frozen, her mind racing. Nathan moved even closer, his voice lowering. You're wasting yourself with that poor night watchman. What can he offer you? Nothing. I can talk to my mother today and have him removed from this property, or I'll pay him off handsomely. Just say yes to me, and your entire future changes. Emma took a deep breath and stepped back. With all due respect, sir, I'm not interested. Nathan's eyebrows shot up. What? I appreciate your offer, Emma said carefully, but I'm focused on my marriage, my work, and building my future the right way. I won't throw away my integrity for quick rewards." He laughed incredulously. "Marriage? You can't seriously be calling that situation with Marcus a marriage. You're young and beautiful. You should be with someone who can actually provide for you, not a broke security guard." Emma's voice remained steady. "I'm not ashamed of my husband. He treats me with respect and love. He may not have much right now, but I believe God will bless him in time. And more importantly, I believe in him." "You're being foolish," Nathan scoffed. "You're choosing poverty over opportunity. I'd rather have poverty with a man who values me than wealth with someone who only wants to possess me," Emma replied boldly. "If standing by my husband is a mistake, then I'll gladly make that mistake every single day." Nathan stared at her for a long moment, his jaw clenched. Finally, he shook his head and walked out, clearly frustrated. Emma's hands trembled as she returned to cooking. That evening, she couldn't keep it inside any longer. "Marcus," she said as soon as he came home, "Nathan approached me again. This time he made serious offers. University abroad, money, a new life, but only if I leave you and be with him." Marcus stood up abruptly, his fists clenched. "He said what?" "He also said he could have you fired or pay you off just to get me out of your life." Marcus's face darkened with anger, but when he saw the distress in Emma's eyes, he forced himself to calm down. "What did you tell him?" Emma met his gaze directly. "I told him no. I told him I believe in you, in us. I told him I know one day God will bless you, and I'm not going anywhere." Marcus stared at her, his eyes glistening. He pulled her close and held her tightly. "Thank you, Emma. Thank you for standing by me when you could have chosen an easier path." She wrapped her arms around him. "You stood by me first when no one else did. Now it's my turn to stand by you." That night, they prayed together before sleeping, asking for protection, wisdom, and strength. Emma felt at peace with her decision. She had chosen love and loyalty over luxury, and she had no regrets. But she knew this situation couldn't continue. Something had to change. The following morning, Emma woke with a heavy heart. She was tired of the tension, tired of looking over her shoulder, tired of Nathan's advances. After Marcus left for his morning duties, she made a decision. She had to speak to Mrs. Patterson directly. She walked to the main house and knocked gently on the door. Mrs. Patterson answered with her usual warm smile. "Emma, dear, good morning. Come in." Emma entered, her hands clasped nervously. "Ma'am, I need to talk to you about something important. Please don't be upset with me." Mrs. Patterson's smile faded to concern. She sat down and gestured for Emma to do the same. "Of course, dear. What's troubling you?" Emma took a deep breath. "It's about Nathan, ma'am. He's been pursuing me, making me uncomfortable. He's offered me money, education abroad, a new life, all if I leave my husband and be with him. He even said he'd have Marcus fired or paid off just to get him out of the way." Mrs. Patterson's expression grew serious. "Nathan said all this to you?" "Yes, ma'am. I've tried to ignore it, but I can't anymore. I respect you in this home too much to stay silent." Emma's voice wavered slightly. "I wanted you to know the truth." There was a long silence. Then Mrs. Patterson spoke, her voice soft and measured. "Emma, you're a beautiful, intelligent young woman. You deserve better opportunities in life. Perhaps Nathan sees your potential. Maybe you should consider his offer." Emma's eyes widened in disbelief. "Ma'am, think about it carefully," Mrs. Patterson continued, her tone almost persuasive. "We can give you everything you've ever wanted: education, comfort, security. We could even arrange something fair for Marcus. He'd be compensated generously. This could be good for everyone." Emma stood up slowly, her hands shaking but her voice clear and strong. "With all due respect, Mrs. Patterson, I am not that kind of woman." Mrs. Patterson opened her mouth to speak, but Emma continued. "I didn't come to this city to be bought. I didn't marry Marcus for money. I married him because when everyone else abandoned me, he gave me dignity. When my own father discarded me like garbage, Marcus treated me like I mattered." Tears filled Emma's eyes, but her voice never wavered. "Ma'am, I would rather leave this job than betray the man I love. I will never, ever turn my back on my husband. Never." Mrs. Patterson sat stunned, speechless. I'm sorry, ma'am, but if Nathan doesn't stop this behavior, Marcus and I will leave this property. I won't stay where I'm disrespected." Emma turned and walked out quickly, wiping tears as she headed back to the cottage. Her heart pounded, but she felt strangely liberated. She had spoken her truth. When she opened the cottage door, she stopped dead in her tracks. Stacks of money, neat bundles of cash, sat on the small table in the corner. "Marcus," she gasped, "what is this? Where did you get this money?" Marcus stood up from the couch, calm and serious. "Emma, sit down. I need to tell you something." She sat, her eyes darting between him and the money. "I've been saving this money for a long time," he began, "little by little from various sources. I've been planning to start my own security consulting business. It's been my dream. But why are you showing me this now?" Emma asked, confused. Marcus knelt before her, taking her hands. "Because today, when I saw the kind of woman you truly are, when I saw you reject wealth and choose loyalty, I realized something. You deserve better than what I've been giving you." "Marcus, what are you?" "I want you to use this money for your education." He interrupted gently. "I know how much you want to go to university. Take it. Enroll. I'll manage." "No," Emma said firmly, pulling her hands back. "Absolutely not. Emma, I'm serious. And so am I." She stood up, her voice passionate. "This is your dream, Marcus. You saved this with your own hard work. I won't let you give it up for me. But I love you, and I love you." Emma interrupted, tears streaming down her face. "That's exactly why we're going to use this money wisely. Let's leave this property. Let's rent a small place of our own and start your business together. I'll help you run it, cook for clients if needed, manage the books, whatever it takes." Marcus stared at her, speechless. "When the business grows and becomes stable," Emma continued, "then I'll go to school. One step at a time. Together. As a team." Marcus stood slowly, looking at her as if seeing her for the first time. "You want to leave here and start fresh with me, even with all the uncertainty?" "Yes," Emma said without hesitation. "I don't want to stay here anymore. Not with the way we've been treated. We deserve peace, Marcus. Even if it's small, even if it's humble, as long as it's ours." Marcus pulled her into his arms, his voice thick with emotion. "Emma, you're not just beautiful. You're wise beyond your years. You're everything I prayed for." She smiled through her tears. "And you're the only man I'll ever want." Then he kissed her, a kiss full of promise, commitment, and genuine love. Not motivated by money or pressure, but by mutual respect and partnership. That night, as they lay in each other's arms making plans for their future, Emma whispered, "Our best days are coming." Marcus kissed her forehead. "Yes, my queen. Step by step, we'll build them together." The next morning, Emma woke to find Marcus gone again. She cleaned the cottage, humming softly, feeling lighter than she had in days. Then came a knock at the door. She opened it to find Mrs. Patterson and Nathan standing there, both looking solemn. "Good morning, Emma," Mrs. Patterson said gently. "May we come in?" Emma stepped aside wordlessly, allowing them to enter. They sat down, and Mrs. Patterson spoke first. "Emma, we came to apologize. For everything. For what Nathan said. For what I suggested. We were wrong." Nathan nodded, his expression genuinely remorseful. "I was foolish and disrespectful. I let arrogance blind me. But I see it now. Marcus is incredibly fortunate to have you. You're a true partner, and that's rare." Mrs. Patterson smiled warmly. "Yes, he's very lucky indeed. You're special, Emma. Women like you are precious." Emma's expression softened. "Thank you. I forgive you both. I'm not angry anymore. We meant what we said yesterday," Mrs. Patterson continued with a mysterious smile. "You are our daughter-in-law." Emma frowned slightly. "Your daughter-in-law?" Mrs. Patterson's smile widened. "You'll understand soon enough, dear." After a few more minutes of conversation, they stood to leave, both hugging Emma warmly. As the door closed behind them, Emma stood there bewildered. What did she mean? That evening, Marcus returned home looking tired but excited. Emma rushed to him immediately. "Where have you been all day?" "I've been waiting." Marcus took her hands and led her to the couch. "Emma, there's something I need to tell you. I should have been honest from the beginning. Her stomach tightened. What is it? He took a deep breath. Nathan isn't just Mrs. Patterson's son. He's my younger brother. And Mrs. Patterson, she's not my employer. She's my mother. Emma's mouth fell open. What? I'm so sorry for lying, Marcus said quickly. I didn't plan to keep it from you this long. I needed to know if someone could love me for who I am, not for my money or family name. Marcus, you lied to me about everything. Emma's voice trembled. I've been hurt before, he explained, pain evident in his eyes. Multiple times. Women who pretended to love me, but only wanted access to my wealth. They'd leave the moment I stopped spending on them. I became cynical, Emma. I didn't trust anyone. It was a long silence. Emma processed everything, the cottage, the job, the entire setup. So you went far out of your way to test me, she finally said. Yes, and I'm sorry. You have every right to be angry. Emma sat quietly for another moment. Then a small smile crept across her face. Okay, I forgive you. But you owe me. Marcus looked up, surprised. Owe you what? A car and a mansion, Emma said with a mischievous grin. For lying to me all this time. Marcus burst out laughing, relief flooding his face. That's nothing, my queen. Consider it done. Emma laughed and jumped into his arms. I love you so much, Marcus. And I love you even more, Dr. Emma-to-be, he replied, holding her tight. They kissed deeply, all pretense finally stripped away. No more secrets, no more tests, just truth, love, and a future full of promise. News traveled fast. When Emma's father heard that Marcus was actually wealthy, he nearly choked. His hand shook as he dialed Emma's number. My daughter, please forgive me, he said, his voice falsely humble. I didn't know God had blessed you like this. Emma listened silently. Your sister is struggling here, he continued. Perhaps she could come stay with you in the city? Things are very difficult. With all due respect, sir, Emma interrupted calmly. No. Emma, please. I forgive you, Father, but I need distance from you and your wife. I suffered too much under your roof. I'm finally at peace. Her voice became firmer. If you ever need help with something truly important, you may call me. But please don't call me for nonsense. And take good care of your wife. She hung up and looked skyward. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing Marcus into my life. 3 years later, Emma walked across the graduation stage in her white coat, her medical degree finally in hand. The crowd erupted, but one voice rose above all others. That's my wife, Marcus shouted, standing and cheering. That's my queen. After the ceremony, he wrapped her in his arms, tears of pride streaming down his face. I'm so incredibly proud of you, Dr. Emma. She beamed. Thank you for believing in me every single day. Thank you for everything. You're the world's best husband. And you, he whispered, are my forever queen. One peaceful afternoon, Marcus surprised Emma with a drive to an upscale neighborhood. They stopped before a stunning white mansion with golden gates. Why are we here? Emma asked, confused. Marcus pulled out a set of keys and dangled them in front of her. This is your mansion, my queen. Marcus, stop playing. I'm serious. I promised you a car and a mansion. Here they are, both. Emma screamed, laughing and crying simultaneously. Then she stepped back, her hand moving to her stomach. I have news too. What is it? I went for a test last week. Marcus, I'm 3 months pregnant. Marcus froze. Then he shouted joyfully, lifting her carefully off the ground. Are you serious? We're having a baby. Yes. He knelt and kissed her stomach gently. My baby, Daddy already loves you so much. Emma smiled through her tears, looking at the mansion, then at her husband, then down at her stomach. From rejected and worthless to royalty and motherhood. From a dusty village to a mansion in the city. From despair to destiny. Truly, she whispered, my name is Emma, and my life is proof that God turns mourning into dancing. The end. What an incredible journey. From rejection to royalty, Emma's story shows us the power of integrity, loyalty, and faith. Did this story inspire you? Smash that like button. Share this with everyone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, life-changing stories. Drop a comment below and tell us, what was your favorite moment in Emma's journey? What lesson touched your heart the most? Do you know someone who needs to hear this story? Turn on those notifications so you never miss our next inspiring tale. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, your current situation is not your final destination. Stay blessed, stay hopeful, and keep believing. See you in the next story. Folded Hand Sparkles.